Alright, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we have got to go over the OP12 cards for a quick guide on the pre-release. That's right, notice on the screen here, August 22nd will be the official release for OP12 over here in the West. And for any of the new players out there who might not be aware, 1 week before the official release of any of these products like this, like OP12 in this case, 1 week before that, they have events called pre-release events. It's an early way to get access to the cards, but it's not done in your standard format where you bring a 50-card pre-constructed deck. Instead, there's a pre-release format set up where you're going to get 6 booster packs to make your deck from. Okay, in today's video, we're going to be breaking down how to do that, some cards to look out for in OP12. Okay, let's do this, guys. We're going to get right into it. As usual, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant links and stuff like that in the comment section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comment section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden. To celebrate their 1-year anniversary, they're thanking the fans with a huge sale. Nearly everything in the store is $30 or less. And you can use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 5% off on your next order. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get straight into this. I do need to talk about some things before we get into it though. I think 2 or 3 things. First of all, notice at the top left corner of the screen. Okay, it says bruisers, blockers, counters, removal, and card draw. I'm going to elaborate on that more as we go through each card. But just know that when we're trying to build our sealed deck, we're going to be focusing on those types of cards to include in our deck, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing is I'm not going to be talking about leaders at all, okay? Every single time that I reference a character or effect in this game, I'm going to be pretending that you're running Rainbow Luffy, because that should be the default at this point for sealed tournaments. If you're going to a local tournament and they're not forcing everyone to run a Rainbow Luffy leader, I don't really know what to say. That's between, your store and Bandai, I guess. But you should be there should be Rainbow Luffy leaders for every single sealed tournament at this point moving forward. If not, like I said, I don't know what they're going by. Okay, third thing. We are going to be going through this as quickly as possible because we have 120 cards to go over. So we're going to be skipping over the leaders. We're not going to be talking about those. We're not going to focus on the alt arts. And we're going to mainly focus on cards that I think are going to be the #1 cards to build your deck around in sealed. Now, let me do, that was like 3A. Let me do 3B real quick. What is sealed? I touched on this a little bit in the intro. Sealed tournaments happen 1 week before the official release of a set. Okay, so in other words, OP12 is going to be coming out next week, right? Officially. Well, it's a week before that, and we're going to be getting these pre-release events, right? So they happen before the actual release. And what ends up happening is you're going to get 6 booster packs of OP12. Okay, and you're going to make a 40-card deck out of whatever cards you get in those packs, okay? So that's how it works. All right, so now we can get into this. I'm going to be skipping over the leaders, like I said. And every single effect we see, guys, I'm going to be imagining your leader is Rainbow Luffy. And if it's not, that's something you'll have to work out later. Okay, now, let's do this, guys. Let's get right into it. Okay, Silver's Rayleigh's up first. We're going to be going through the red cards. So first up here, Edward Newgate. This is a perfect example of the counter. Okay, this is a 5-cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter character. Notice the points I have on the top left there. This is a good example of a bruiser. It has a 6,000 base power, which is not bad for 5 cost. And then it is a 2K counter. So this checks off 2 different things we're looking for in 1 card. This would be pretty much an auto include unless you just see way better cards out there, okay? 5 cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter. Really nice bruiser body stat line there with a 2K counter. Very good for sealed. Okay, and don't worry, guys. We'll pick up more and more as we go through these once I fully explained all 5 of these categories. Crocus, 2 cost, 3K, 1K counter. Would not include this unless you have no other better options. The effect is also very, very limited, right? On KO, reveal 2 events from your hand to do an effect that plays up to 1 red character card with 3,000 power or less from your hand. That's a little too specific for a sealed tournament. So unless you're a veteran sealed player where you really know how to build your decks and you get the proper pull, I would stay away from cards like this, okay? Kazuki Odin, same idea here. It goes around events. We're not trying to build this into sealed, okay? Now, all right, here we go. 8 cost, 10,000 power, 1K counter character here, vanilla body. Guys, these vanilla characters, if you ever wondered, like, why does Bandai print these? These are great cards for sealed. 8 cost, 10,000 power, auto include if you get this in sealed. Okay, next up we have Shakiyaku. Now this is a searcher. I'm going to explain this right up front here so I don't have to keep repeating myself when it comes to searchers. Generally speaking, these are not very good for sealed unless you see enough cards to search up with the, the searcher's effect, right? And how many would be a good number? I would say probably, so it's going to be a 40 card deck, right? So if you see 10 or more cards of the type that can be searched by the searcher, then you might want to include the searcher because you're getting a character on the board. It's a 1K counter in hand and it can replace itself in hand and it works as card draw. So searchers are very specific to what you see in your pool. Okay, so there's Shakiyaku. Next up is Shanks. Way too specific. Another thing I should have mentioned, guys, pause and read what these cards do if you don't already know, or look up, I think I've already put out a guide on this. I'll try to link that in the comment section below where I've gone over all the cards from OP12 already. So if you don't know what these cards do, you might want to check out that guide as well. Okay, Shanks, too specific. I would avoid this in sealed. Now, this Shanks, on the other hand, this is the 2-cost version of Shanks. The 4-cost version of Shanks is incredible, okay, for sealed. This is an absolute juggernaut. It's a 4-cost, 6,000 power body, excellent bruiser body there, with blocker, so that's 2 things, 2 out of 5 things we're looking for, and on your opponent's attack, once per turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand and give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. So it also works as a counter as well while it's on the board, getting you extra counter power from other cards. Auto-include, if you pop one of these opens and sealed, just throw it right in the deck immediately. Okay, alt art for the card. Jinbei, a little too specific for sealed, but it is a decent 3-cost 4K body. I think we have better options, though. I would probably avoid this for sealed. Douglas Bullet, 6-cost, 7,000 power. That's a bruiser frame with a 2K counter. Awesome include. Awesome include for sealed. 5-cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter, vanilla character. Auto include for sealed. Okay, Buggy, this one's a little bit too specific to Roger Pirates. We're going to stay away from this. Okay, next up is Hatchan. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power character with an activate main. Very specific effect here, just to give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to your leader or character. I would stay away from this. Next up is Boa. This is a searcher, so again, it will come down to if you have enough cards to search up for this character here, 10 or more cards in your deck, then you might want to include it. Otherwise, I would stay away from it. Okay, this is the alt art. Monkey D. Luffy. Now, this card, even though the on-play effect is very specific, this is a 4-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter character, and if you just attach 2 Dawn or give 2 Dawn to anywhere on the board for the turn, this is basically a 4-cost, 6,000 power character with the 1K counter, and the on-play does have some potential upside. This is actually a great card to include in sealed. I shouldn't say it's a great card, but this card's solid for sealed. It'll be just fine. Okay, here it is again. Okay, then these events here. So this really applies to if your leader is Rainbow Luffy. All of these events we're about to look at for Silver's Rayleigh, really good stuff here because they are at least 2K counters with potential upside, right? So they end up working as the counter stuff we're looking for with some potential upside as well. Okay, so that applies to Observation Hockey, Supreme Hockey, or Conqueror's Hockey, and Armament Hockey. All of these are completely fine to run in your deck if your leader is going to be Rainbow Luffy. Okay, Zoro, this is a leader here. Okay, Ipin Matsu. So this card does have blocker, so this does fall under that category, and it does have some potential upside, but the main thing is it's a 3-cost blocker with 1K counter. Okay, so this is some really good stuff to add. You might be able to find better blockers in this set. There are some pretty decent blockers in here, but this is good enough to include if not. Inarashi, really good card here. 6-cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter character. Activate main, rest this character up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 5 or less will not become active in your opponent's next refresh phase. Excellent, excellent card for sealed. It's a 6-cost, 7K with a 1K counter. That whole entire bruiser stat line there with the counter on it, top notch. And then also, the turn you play this out, you'll be able to rest it, and now your opponent's character that costs 5 or less will not become active next phase. Really, really good card here for sealed. Excellent card to grab for sealed. Okay, Kawamatsu, 5-cost, 6,000 power with a 2K counter. Okay, great stats here for a bruiser body and 2K counter. We will take that. And this is also a slash character, so is the Inarashi. Keep that in mind. There is a searcher to look out for in this set that could be very, very good in this set. Okay, slash character, great stat lines and counters on them. We'll take it every time. Gaio Kimaru, slash character, 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter character. If this character is active, this character cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects. It has evasion built in, and when attacking, if you have if you have a total of 3 or more given Dawn cards, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 6 or less. Awesome, awesome card here for sealed. Okay, excuse me. 6-cost, 8,000 power, vanilla character with slash. Awesome for sealed. Excellent, excellent card for sealed here. Okay, Kuina, 4 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter. Rest this character to rest of 4 or less and give 3 Dawn to your leader. This is basically removal when it comes to sealed. If your leader is, if you do have a leader that can get this, that can pull this effect off. Really, really good card for sealed here. Next up is Kashiro. 2 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter, blocker, and it can also potentially help out your slash attribute characters. Great include here for sealed. Okay, and this might want you to really consider if you have enough slash characters in your card pool, right? Remember, guys, you don't get to choose what you open in packs; it's just random. So be looking for slash in particular, guys. Notice this slash at the top; that's called an attribute. Really pay attention to how many slash characters you have in the deck, especially for a card like this, Kazuki Hiyori. This is a searcher, guys. You may rest one of your Dawn and this character. If your leader is Zoro, remember, if it's Luffy, Rainbow Luffy, it will count as well. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck and reveal up to 1 slash attribute card or a green event and add it to your hand. Really watch for the, and notice this, guys. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 slash attribute card. That card can be green, red, whatever color, doesn't matter. But it can also, this card can also search up green events. This is actually a very strong searcher in OP12. Keep that in mind, guys, when it comes to looking for slash characters. Okay, here's another slash character. This is a 2k counter with an on-play effect, auto-include. Okay, Dracula Mihawk. Now, this might go in the conversation of like top 3 best cards to pull in all of OP12 for sealed, okay? If you get this card, it is not even a question. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. You just play this card. It is an 8 cost, 8,000 power blocker with on-play stand for Dawn is active. Excellent, excellent card for sealed. Okay, here's the alt art. Looks incredible. Next up, Tashigi. 5 cost, 7,000 power. Rest a character that has a base cost of 6 or less and give 3 Dawn to your leader. Again, if your leader is Zoro or if your leader is Rainbow Luffy, incredible. Absolutely incredible here. This is a great card. It is a bruiser body with removal built in that allows you to attack for more with your leader. Excellent all-star choice here for sealed. Okay, incredible alt art as well. Okay, did I skip one? No. Nekomamushi, another slash character here, guys. 6 cost, 7,000 power, 2k counter. Okay, excellent character here for sealed. Helmeppo, another slash character. This one has blocker built in. It's a 4 cost 5k with blocker on block. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. This is actually very important to understand, guys. Notice it's an on-block effect. You don't even necessarily have to sacrifice this character to get that effect off. If you catch your opponent slipping, think about this. If they have 2 attacks on the board, 2 different characters on the board that you can rest down with this on block, if they attack it with one or attack it with their leader, you'll be able to block with this. And if you can actually counter out to save this character, you won't even lose it, right? Now, when you block, even if you do lose this character, on block, you can rest up one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. However, think of it like this. If you block and it's just a 5,000 power attack, you can 1k counter out to save this character, and the on-block effect is still going to go off. So this is actually a very solid character in sealed. Okay, next up we have Perona, probably the best searcher for sealed right now. This and Hiyori. Okay, this is a 1 cost searcher. It can search up if your leader. Okay, if your leader has the slash attribute, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 slash attribute card or green event. So same exact formatting as Hiyori, but this one doesn't need your leader to be Zoro. It just has to have a slash attribute. But Rainbow Luffy counts as all types and attributes, right? So really, really incredible card. This Perona and the Hiyori searcher, they're actually probably going to be some of the best searchers you can find in sealed. Okay, keep your eye on this card. Very good card. Okay, alt art, incredible. Next up, we have a 3 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter slash character. I think there's a few other cards with this stat line in the set. These are not bad to grab for sealed, guys. Yeah, we would never touch these in constructed, right? But 3 costs for 5,000 power, and it has a 1k counter, and it's going to be slash searchable. This is a great card to pick up for sealed. Okay, Zoro, 4 costs, 5,000 power, 1k counter, slash character with upside, auto include for sealed. Okay, Demon Aura, 9 sword style, Asura Blades, drawn Dead Man's Game. This event here, 1 cost for a 3k counter, or 4 costs to rest up to a total of 2 of your opponent's characters or Dawn cards. This is probably going to be an all-star in sealed, guys. As far as events go, this might be one of, if not the best cards to get in sealed. Okay, really, really good event here for sealed. Okay, next up, this is the alt art for it. This looks really good as well. Next up, we have 2 sword style Rashomon. This is a 1 cost 3k counter. Okay, I take it back. The Dead Man's Game is very good, but this one here, Rashomon, rest up to 2 of your Dawn cards. So it'd be 3 Dawn altogether. 1 for the event, 2 for the activation cost. That's 3 Dawn. KO up to 2 of your opponent's rested characters with a base cost of 4,000, or a base cost of 4 or less. Awesome, awesome event for sealed, guys. It has a 3k counter built into it to protect your leader only. That can only protect your leader. or you can pay 3 and KO 2 4-cost or lower characters. Has removal built in, counter built in, very versatile event here for sealed. Next up, you have Luffy's the man who will become the pirate or the king of pirates. This is another great card for sealed. You can use this on your leader to attack twice. That can actually win you games sometimes in sealed, guys. Really good stuff here. And that's if you're leader Zoro or Rainbow Luffy. Okay. Next up, we have another leader Kuzan. I think we also have blue purple Sanji. Okay, this Alvida, probably not the best choice you can get, guys. It's just a 4-cost, 5,000 power character with a 1k counter, and the on-play has placed up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 1 or less at the bottom of the other's deck. Yes, that's technically removal, but we're probably going to have better options here, guys. I would avoid this unless you have no better options. Okay, Kuzan, 6 cost, 8,000 power character, incredible stat line there. It does not have a counter, but it has almost like pseudo removal, where it has on play, trash a card from hand, and up to one of your opponent's characters cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Now, yes, trashing cards does hurt a lot when it comes to sealed, but the fact that you're able to establish a 6 cost, 8,000 power body and stop an attack for the turn, this is a very good card for sealed. Okay, there's the alt art for it. Okay, then we have Sakazuki. This is another incredible card. I have this card probably in my top 3 selection. Dracula Mihawk and this Sakazuki are in my top 3 selection for cards to get in sealed for OP12. This is a 7-cost, 8,000 power character on play if your leader has the Navy type. So, you know, Rainbow Luffy, draw 2 cards. A 7-cost, 8,000 power draw 2 on play. Hard to beat that. And then you also have an activate main to help you do even more damage with this card later on. If you're trying to swing for lethal, you can use cards up from your hand, you know, tapping Dawn accordingly, and then you can activate main, trashing a card from your hand to attach a Dawn to your leader or one of your characters. Really good stuff here. Okay, next up we have Django, 6 cost, 8,000 power / searchable, 1k counter vanilla. Thumbs up, really good include in sealed. Okay, Zephyr. It's a 5-cost, 5,000 power 2k counter character. That's probably already worth running because it's a 2k counter with a potential 5-cost, 5k body. The on-play effect hurts really bad. You have to trash 2 cards from your hand, but the activate main's not terrible. Return up to 1 character with activate main, trash this character, and return up to 1 character with the cost of 5 less to the owner's hand. So it's removal. You know, if you absolutely have to run this card, maybe it'll be decent. Maybe you can play this as your last card or something. I don't know. If you have like 1 card left in your hand, it's this card. Well, okay, play this card out on play. Okay, I'll trash 2 cards from my hand. I have none left, and then I can activate main and bounce the character back to their hand just to slow the opponent down. You could do something like that. Either way, 2k counter, it's not terrible, even if you don't want to play it out. Sengoku, this is where, okay, if you have enough Navy searchable targets, maybe consider running this. Otherwise, I wouldn't consider it. Rosinante, I think this is way too specific to run in sealed. I would stay away from this card. I don't think this card's necessary. Okay, Buggy, 6 cost, 7,000 power / searchable, 2k counter. Awesome card here. Really good if you get those searchers as well, the / searchers. Jaguar de Saul, 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1k counter blocker. So, guys, this character has a massive stat line of 6 cost, 7,000 power. It has the 1k counter and blocker built in. Really, really nice card for sealed. Hina, 2k counter, that's pretty much all I have to read. It does have some potential upside. Rest this character and trash 1 card from your hand. Up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 4 or less cannot activate blocker during this turn. So if they have a blocker that they're trying to hide behind to survive, you might be able to play this card out, rest it, trash card from hand, and then get around the blocker. Okay, so this card's actually a really good card in sealed, and it's a 2k counter. Okay, Full Body is a 4 cost, 6k, 1k counter vanilla. Really good card for sealed. Next up is Borsellino, 4 cost, 5k, 1k counter. Once per turn, if this character will be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand instead. It has evasion, so that's really good to protect it. Okay, there's not a ton of removal in sealed, but it's still something, right? And it's at least a 4 cost, 5k, 1k counter body. But listen to the opponent's turn effect, guys. If your leader has the Navy type, this character gains blocker and plus 1,000 power. So in Luffy, this is really a 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter blocker. So that's actually very, very strong. Okay. Marshall D. Teach, this is an interesting card. I think it's more about comboing. Who knows, though, guys? Okay, it says if your leader has the 7 Warlords type, return up to 1 character with a cost of 1 or less other than this character to the owner's hand. So you might be able to bounce back Perona with a card like this if you can somehow find that combo in the cards that you got from your 6 packs. Maybe there'll be something to mess around with there. Otherwise, I probably would not include this card. Okay. Next up, we have Moji and Kabaji. So this is a slash attribute character, guys. It's a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 2k counter character with slash and wisdom, so you can search this up if you have a slash searcher. Other than that, this is a nice 2k counter body. Really good card for sealed. Okay, or I should have said 2k counter, 5 cost, 6k body. Very good for sealed, though. Okay, next up is Garp. So this card can be good, but it really depends on what you draw, right? So it's an 8 cost, 8,000 power character, and I think there's plenty of bigger, like I think we have plenty of 8,000 power bodies in this set, even vanilla cards that are cheaper than this, where I don't think we're going to want to run Garp in sealed. Now, yes, if you get enough targets, notice what it does. On play, trash a card from your hand. Play up to 1 blue Navy type character card with 8,000 power or less other than Garp from your hand. If you get enough, like, I don't know, maybe Sakazukis and Kuzans and full bodies and Jangos, if you get enough targets in your deck, this could be decent, but otherwise I'd probably stay away from this one. I would stick to the 6 cost 8k vanillas instead, because they're 2 costs cheaper, they have a 1k counter, and you don't have to worry about playing, building your deck around an on-play effect. Okay, there's the alt art. Next up, we have Ice Block Pheasant Peck. This is a 1 cost 4K, and I actually think this is worth running in sealed, guys. This is a great counter to run for sealed, because imagine like this. So there's already 0 cost 3Ks in the game, right? It's a 0 cost event where you trash a card from hand and you get a 3K counter from it. Well, this is like a 1 cost 4K where you trash a card as well. And I think that's still worth running in sealed, because that will also let you get rid of bricks in your hand if needed, so that you can actually counter out some really big meaningful attacks. Okay, solid card here if you have no other better options. Okay, now this one, I will make Whitebeard the king of the pirates. This is an ace. This is a card for ace and Whitebeard pirates. This is probably way too specific to run for sealed. Okay, guys? Next up is Concasser. 1 cost main. If your leader is Sanji, draw a card. And then counter if you have 4 more events in your trash, up to 1 of your leaders gains plus 4,000 power during this battle. Guys, if you only have 4 events in your entire deck, I probably would not run this card unless your leader's Rainbow Luffy and you're just trying to use it as a 1 cost cycle. But otherwise, 4 events in sealed, that's actually a lot of events in the trash. I'm like, that's a lot for sealed. Let me say that. I would avoid this card unless you just need a filler card to cycle through. Okay, next up. Buff Burst. Now, this card, on the other hand, is incredible. So this is a 3 cost event. If your leader is multicolored, choose 1. Return up to 1 of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. So you can bounce a card back to your owner's to the owner's hand, but you can bounce a card off the board. And then if you have 6 or less cards, draw 2. Auto include, if you find this card and you're running Rainbow Luffy or technically any multicolored leader for your leader, this card is incredible for sealed. Draw 2 cards for 3. We'll take that every single time. And then also some potential removal. Really, really solid event here. Okay, and here's the alt art. Looks awesome. Okay, then we have the leader Rosinante. Okay, then we get to Sora. We're into the purple cards now, guys. 2K counter Sora. It has an on-play, but I doubt it will matter much for sealed, guys. It has to do with, if your leader is Sanji and the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal to or less than the number on your opponent's field, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it, then draw 1 card. That might seem good, like, oh, but you're drawing a card. It's like, yes, but this is an on-play effect. So you're playing out a card from your hand to draw a card, so it cycles in that way, and it could fix your Dawn, I guess. But it's probably good to play still as a 2K counter at the bare minimum, okay? Next up, we have Reiju. This is a really good card in general, guys. It's a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter blocker. That's just built into the card. It's already worth running. And then it does have some potential upside if you can run enough events in your deck. Okay, if you have 4 more events in your trash, this character gains plus 2,000 power and plus 5 cost. Okay, there's the alt art for it. Virgo, 5 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter, vanilla character. Solid card for sealed. Imperial Ivankov, 6 cost, 7,000 power, 1K counter character. Now, this is a blocker, but it's conditional. Okay, understand, guys, some cards in this game are conditional blockers. This is not just a 6 cost, 7K, 1K counter blocker. And in fact, if you're playing against another player who plays this down, you need to ask, like, hey, how many cards, how many events do you have in your trash? Because if they don't have 4 or more events in trash, this is not a blocker. But the on KO effect happens no matter what. If this character gets KO'd, on KO, add up to 1 event from your trash to your hand. So this card could be very decent. And I will say this, guys, it is a 6 cost, 7K, 1K counter blocker potentially. It's probably worth running for that alone. The stat line's fine, could become a blocker, and on KO it has some other upside. Solid card for sealed. Okay, Karn, so this is a conditional blocker. These effects here, if you have 4 more events in your trash, there's a few effects like that in OP12. That's just upside for most of these cards, right? Like, for example, what we saw with the Reiju, this card is just worth running, period, whether you have 4 events, whether you have any events in your deck or not. This is a 4 cost 5K, 1K counter blocker. With Ivankov, this is a 6 cost 7K, 1K counter character, period. It does not have blocker unless you have 4 more cards, 4 more events in your trash, but a 6 cost 7K, 1K counter is probably worth considering anyway. However, with a card like Karn here, this is just a 1 cost, 1,000 power, 1K counter character. You could probably skip this one for sealed unless you just have tons of events in your deck. Then it might be worth running. Otherwise, I'd probably stay away from a card like this in sealed. Okay, next up is Carmen. 3 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter vanilla character. This is just fine for sealed to play out on going second. If you're going first on turn 2, this is a good card to play out. Okay, if you have no better options, this card's just fine. Okay, again, this is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 2k counter character. Great stat line, 2k counter, solid card for sealed. Crocodile, 6 cost, 8,000 power, on your opponent's attack once per turn, Dawn -1. If your leader's type includes Baroque Works, we're good there with Rainbow Luffy, up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. This card is probably, this one might just be out of my top 4, guys. This one's probably like, it's probably out of my top 4. This one's probably number 5 for the series, or for this set, guys. A 6 cost, 8,000 power character. That's a massive stat line. And then on top of that, every single turn on your opponent's attack, you can just Dawn -1 if your leader's Rainbow Luffy. And you're going to be able to plus 2,000. You're going to get a free 2k counter every turn. Really, really strong card. I have this one in the same tier as the red Shanks that we saw. Really, really good card with recurring value. Okay, excellent card. Next up, we have Sanji. This is a great card outside of Sealed. You know, people are building decks around this with the new blue-purple Sanji, but this is way too specific for Sealed. I would probably stay away from this, but it does have the way to protect itself from events, right? If this character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, or excuse me, not events, I meant to say effects, you may return 1 Dawn card from your field to your Dawn deck instead. So it does have evasion. Maybe you want to run 1 or 2 of these in the deck if you get them, but I'd probably stay away from it in general. Okay, there's the alt art. All right, Charlotte Pudding. This is a searcher for Sanji and event cards. Could be decent, but it really depends on what you draw. Zeph is a 4 cost, 5k, 1k counter. This one's very specific to the leader Sanji. It says when a Dawn card on your field is returned to your Dawn deck, if your leader is Sanji, this character gains Rush during this turn. Probably not worth running in Sealed. Okay? Probably not worth running in Sealed. Trafalgar Law is also very, very specific. It's a 7 cost, 8k. On play, if the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal to or less than the number of on your opponent's field, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. Then all of your Don Quixote, Rosinante, and Heart Pirates type cards gain plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next end phase. I would probably stay away from this card in Sealed, guys. It's a very cool card. It's very strong in the right deck, but in Sealed, it's a little bit too specific in my opinion. Okay, here's the alt art for it. Okay, next up we have Patty, 3 cost, 2,000 power. This is a 2k counter, so it's worth considering already, but it has an on-play to trash an event from your hand, and if your leader Sanji, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active. So technically in Rainbow Luffy, this can actually work as a way to ramp Dawn, which is good. It is good in Sealed to be able to ramp Dawn, but it's probably not something to build your entire deck around. It'll all depend on what you see. This card's fine, though, to play regardless because it's a 2k counter. Okay, Miss All Sunday, 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter character, on play, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less. Then your opponent may add 1, excuse me guys, then your opponent may add 1 Dawn card from their Dawn deck and set it as active. Trigger, Dawn -1, play this card. A lot of people were wondering like why this card would even get printed, like what's the point behind this, and I'm sure there's maybe some future design behind it, I don't know. But this is probably not the worst card in the world to play in Sealed. Because if you're playing out on curve, like if, you know, say your opponent goes first, they go turn 1, 1 Dawn, turn 2, 3 Dawn. If they played out a 3 cost character on curve, and then you follow up with a Miss All Sunday, yes, they get to ramp a Dawn, but they just lost their tempo, and you put down a 5,000 power character. And then, of course, we have a trigger to play this card. Triggers are pretty decent usually in Sealed. So, and it's a 4 cost 5k with a 1k counter. It's not a great card. I think there's better options out there because you don't want to help your opponent out, right? But think about it in the late game, guys. If your opponent's already on 10 Dawn and you play this card out for 4 Dawn to KO a 3 cost or lower blocker, that doesn't sound too bad, right? If your opponent's on like 8, 9, or 10 Dawn already, using this card's effect here, it's probably just pure value, right? Because they're going to untap and go to 10 no matter what, you know, the next turn anyway. So playing this out to get rid of 3 cost blockers in the later stages of the game, this is not a bad card in Sealed, guys. It is removal, and it has a decent bruiser stat line. Okay. Next up, we have Monet. This is a 5 cost, 6,000 power, 2k counter character. Perfectly fine for Sealed. Okay, a great filler card for Sealed here with a 2k counter. Okay, next up we have an event here. It is the extinguishes all sound created by your influence technique. It's a 2 cost main effect here. Select up to one of your Trafalgar Law cards, and that card gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. Then if the selected card attacks during this turn, your opponent cannot activate blocker, trigger, draw 1 card. This is actually a pretty decent event to run, especially if your leader's Rainbow Luffy. You're going to be swinging through for 7,000 minimum here, unblockable. So this is a great finisher card. Maybe run one of these in your deck if you get one. Brochablo, this card might be a little too specific for sealed. Notice what it does, guys. It's a 3-cost event with main. If the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal to or less than the number on your opponent's field, draw 1 card, then give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during this turn. So understand, guys, the number of Dawn cards in your field has to be equal to or less than the number on your opponent's field. That's probably not going to happen in sealed very often unless you get the exact cards you need within the sealed pool. So this card might be a little too specific. I would stay away from this in sealed. Okay. Next up is Luffy's the man who will be the pirate, the king of the pirates. This is the purple version. It's a 1-cost event here. Main, if your leader is Sanji, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck and add up to 1 card to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. This card is actually excellent for sealed, guys, because with Rainbow Luffy as your leader, this is just a pay 1, top 3 search, grab any card you want to. You do not have to reveal the card with this effect. Just pure upside, pure value, good stuff here. Okay, next up we have a stage here, a Baratai, or a Barati, however you say that. This is a 1-cost activate main. You may place this stage at the bottom of the owner's deck. If you're leader Sanji, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 event and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Trigger, place the card. Probably not worth running in sealed, guys. It's a little too specific. It only grabs events. Okay, next up we have the leader Koala. Okay, here we go. We have another great character for sealed, guys. This is one of those cards you slam down on curve, and you just go like this to your opponent, like you just put your hands up like, hey, I hope you have an answer to this card, you know, because it's an 8-cost 10K. Good luck with that. 8-cost, 10,000 power, 1K counter character, vanilla. Perfect stat line here to just slam down on curve and just present a threat to your opponent that they probably are not going to be able to deal with. Really, really good card for sealed. Inazuma, 5, and by the way, this is a slash character, guys, slash searchable. Next up we have Inazuma. 5-cost, 6,000 power, 2K counter, slash searchable, 2K counter, and great stat line. Okay, good for sealed. Next up is Imperial Ivankov, 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter blocker. However, it has on play if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, trash 3 cards from the top of your deck. Remember, guys, that on play effect is not actually optional. If your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, trash 3 cards from the top of your deck. And in sealed, you only have 40 cards in your deck, right? So I don't know if this is the best card to run in sealed. However, you know, if you have no other options, I would definitely still consider it. Okay, next up is Karasu, 5-cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter character, incredible bruiser stat line. And hear me out, guys, this card is incredible. This is probably number 4 on my list, like 4 or 5, somewhere up there in the list. This card in sealed is actually so good because, okay, if your leader has the Revolutionary Army types, this character gains +3 cost, so it's an 8-cost character. But then when attacking, if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type and your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand. Excuse me. This card is actually very, very strong in sealed. Any kind of hand destruction in sealed is very, very strong. And that is recurring. If your opponent cannot deal with this character on the next turn and you just keep attacking with it, it gets more and more value every time, and it's putting on pressure. Excellent, excellent card for sealed. Okay, next up is Koala. This is a 1-cost, 2,000 power searcher. If you have enough targets to search up, then you might want to consider it. Okay, there's the alt-art. Next up, we have Nico Robin. Okay, guys, 6-cost, 7,000 power. If your leader's Koala or Monkey D. Luffy, this character gains blocker and +3 cost. On play, trash 1 card from your hand. If your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, your opponent trashes 2 cards from their hand. We were just talking about this, guys. Hand destruction in sealed is very, very strong. And then you have a 7,000 power blocker in the place of it. Like, you're not just paying 6 and your opponent trashes 2 cards. No, you're paying 6 and you have a 7,000 power body now as well. That's a blocker. Really, really powerful card in sealed. Okay, here's the alt art. Next up, we have Bastille, slash character, 6-cost, 8,000 power, 1K counter, vanilla. Awesome stat line for sealed. Next up is Hack, 4-cost, 5,000 power, 1K counter. If your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, this character gains blocker and +4 cost. And then on KO, if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a base cost of 4 or less. Really, really good blocker for sealed with Luffy as your leader. Okay, next up, Bello Betty, 2K counter, we'll take it. Pretty much for that alone. The stat line's pretty good as well. 3-cost, 4,000 power, not too bad. Okay, the when attacking is not super relevant, but it has when attacking. You may trash 2 cards from the top of your deck, give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost during this turn. Okay, 2K counter, though, definitely worth consideration. Poker, 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1K counter character with a very situational effect here. I would probably avoid this card in sealed. Next up is Mizurka. This is a 6-cost, 7,000 power, 2K counter character vanilla. Really good stuff for sealed. Okay, Morley, 4 cost, 5,000 power body with a 2k counter, and it also has the additional upside of if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, this character gains +4 cost. I would probably keep it as a 2k counter, but it does have a decent bruiser stat line to just slam down if you need the tempo. Dragon. So this is a very specific card. It's going to come down to how many revolutionary cards you're able to find in your search here. Or, excuse me, in your, however many Revolutionary Army cards you're going to be able to find in your 6-card booster pack pool. Because notice this, you may place 3 Revolutionary Army type cards from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order. And if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type, which Rainbow Luffy will, you can play up to 1 character card with the cost of 6 or less from your trash. So that's going to be fine if you have enough Revolutionary Army type cards in your trash. You have to return 3. So that's going to be hard to pull off. I wouldn't say this is a great card for sealed, guys, unless you got tons of Revolutionary Army support in your boosters. Okay, the alt art looks really good. Next up is Lindbergh. Now, this is a great card in general, guys. 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter. On play, draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hands. Just a good card in general for sealed because you're cycling through and you're putting down a 4 cost, 5k body. It has another effect if your leader has the Revolutionary Army type. This character gains +4 cost. That's just added bonus there. Okay? Next up, we have Ursa Shock. Okay, guys, we got some removal here. Pay attention. Lock in. 4 cost, main, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. And then, if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, you may select your opponent's character with a cost of 6 or less instead. Trigger, draw a card, trash card from the top of your deck. So, guys, 4 cost to KO a 6 or less if you have an 8 cost or higher on the board, or just 4 cost to KO a 4 or less, period. Really, really good removal. Very strong removal for sealed. We'll take it. Captain's Assemble. This is a 1 cost top 3 searcher for Revo Army. So again, yeah, with these searcher cards, guys, it really just depends on what you see. Okay? That will determine if you should run it or not. Hair Removal Fist. This is a 1 cost 4,000 power counter if you have an 8 cost or higher on the board. Otherwise, it's a 1 cost 2k counter. Trigger, draw a card, and trash card from the top of your deck. This is really not that bad if you have no better options for 2k counters. And it could potentially be a 4k counter later in the game. Okay, now moving on to the yellow cards, guys. We're almost done. Stay with me. We're almost there, guys. Next up, we have Calgara. 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter character / attribute. Your turn. When a card is removed from your or your opponent's life cards, draw 1 card. Then you cannot draw cards using your own effects during this turn. Playing this down right on curve for 5. You have a 6,000 power character. It's a 1k counter in hand later in the game. It's never a dead card, and it could potentially draw you cards whenever you or your opponent loses life on your turn. So, really, really good card here. It has card draw, it has a bruiser build, and it has counter. Really good card. Okay, next up is Sabo. 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter. This has, if you have 3 or less life cards, this character gains blocker and +3 cost. That's already worth making this card run. Okay, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter. That acts as an 8 cost character, and it has blocker. But listen to the on-play effect, guys. You don't have to do the on-play effect. You may add 1 card from the top of your life cards to your hand to draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Okay, so when I say you don't have to do the on-play effect, technically you have to, but you can choose not to add a card from the top of your life to your hand, and then you didn't pay the cost to draw the 2 and trash 1. So the idea here is losing life, like choosing to lose your own life cards in sealed, is usually not a great idea. Every now and then it's worth doing, right? But you have to be very careful with that. Make sure to do that sparingly. You maybe shouldn't do that every time. It all depends on the situation. But think of it like this, guys. Add 1 card from the top of your life cards to your hand. Okay, you lost a life there, but you just drew a card from your life. And then you're going to draw 2 more cards and then trash a card from your hand. This card is very, very strong for sealed. Okay, next up we have Jory Bonnie. This is a 3 cost, 1,000 power, 1k counter character. Activate main, you may rest this character. Your Supernova type leader gains plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then trigger, if your leader has Supernova type, play this card. This card's okay for sealed. It's not exactly great, but being able to buff your leader up like that and having a trigger in your deck is not terrible either. But there's probably going to be better options out there. Okay. Next up, we have Shirahoshi. This is actually a very strong card for sealed, guys, because it has built-in protection. It's a 2 cost, 0 power character, but it has a 1k counter, but it's not meant to attack. It's utility, guys. If your character with a base cost of 6 or less would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may turn 1 card from the top of your life card face up instead. So it has a way to protect your board. The opponent's turn effect is built more around the Neptunian stuff from the green-yellow Shirahoshi deck, but the first part there is actually very good, period. So not a terrible card. If you have extra room in your deck, this is a great filler card here. Okay, here's the alt art for it. Next up, we have Seto. Okay, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 2k counter, vanilla character with the slash type. Really good include in sealed. Okay, next up, Sentimaru. 4 cost, 5,000 power, slash type character with a 1k counter. Trigger, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So this is probably the priority 4 cost card, guys. When we were looking at all the other 4 cost, 5,000 power, 1k counter stat line characters, this one probably takes precedence, priority over all the others. Because yes, everything we just had is a 4 cost, 5k, 1k counter character. However, this one is slash searchable for Hiyori and Perona, and trigger, KO of 4 or less. Really good stuff here. Great include for sealed. Next up, we have Trafalgar Lammy. It's a 1 cost 0 power, but it's a 2k counter. The your turn on play effect says up to one of your Trafalgar Law cards gains plus 2,000 power during this turn. So if you're trying to swing for lethal, you can play this out for 1, and it acts as a 2k, a plus 2,000 power to your leader in this case, right? For or a Trafalgar Law card you might have on the board. But if your leader is Luffy, you'll be able to buff it like that. And otherwise, it's a 2k counter. That's fine. Okay, next up we have a 6 cost, 7,000 power slash blocker here, Trafalgar Law, with a 1k counter. Really, really good card to include for sealed. Okay. Next up is Doflamingo. 8 cost, 8,000 power character with, if you have 2 or less life cards, this character gains Rush. Opponent's turn on KO, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. This is a really good card for sealed. It is conditional though. If you're starting to win, if you're winning the game, this is probably not the best card to have unless you are down to 2 life, then you can benefit from it and do even better. However, I think this is going to be a great catch-up style card, like a catch-up mechanic type of card, where if you're down to 2 or less life and you're actually starting to lose the board a little bit, okay, well now you can slam down 8 cost 8k, attack in immediately into their board because it'll have Rush if you have 2 or less life cards, and then if they KO it, you're drawing a card. So I think this is a great card to include in the list, guys. Very, very strong card for sealed. Okay, next up we have Rosinante. This is a top 5 searcher for Trafalgar Law. So again, if you have enough targets, it might be worth considering. Here's the alt art for it. Next up, we have Pacifista. Here's another 4 cost 5k with a 1k counter, but it has a trigger similar to what we saw with Sentimaru, but this one, I think it was Sentimaru, right? Let me check real quick, guys, because that was a really good one. Yeah, this Sentimaru, very good 4 cost 5k. Okay, but this is another 4 cost 5k Pacifista, and it has trigger, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less, and then add this card to your hand. So remember, guys, with Sentimaru, the card we were just looking at, when you do the trigger here to KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less, this card goes to the trash. You used it, and that's that. But you KO to 4 or less. Now with Pacifista, you KO a 1 or less, but then this card goes back to your hand, so you don't actually lose the card. It's not a bad card, but KOing a 1 or less is not really the greatest thing to achieve in sealed. Okay, there could be better targets. Okay, next up we have Buffalo, 3 costs, 5,000 power, 1k counter, vanilla character. Really good stuff for sealed for the early stuff if you don't have any filler cards up that low in cost. Next up is Baby 5, 2 costs, 4,000 power, 1k counter, vanilla card. Now, one thing I will say, guys, I typically will recommend vanilla characters starting at 3 cost and higher. Okay, 2 cost vanilla cards and sealed, sure, if you have no other better options and you just want to fill out your curve, this is fine, but generally speaking, whenever you play out a card, you want that card to start paying for itself without any extra Dawn investment, so you can keep curving out from your hand, right? So yes, this is a 2 cost 4k vanilla, so you're getting the best stats you can for 2 cost, but that's not exactly great, because no leader's going to be 4,000 base power, right? So that's what we have to look out for here, okay? Next up is Baby 5. Okay, wait. Yeah, so same name here. So we have another Baby 5, but this one's much better. This is a 4 cost, 5,000 power, 2k counter character with a trigger that says if your leader's multicolored, draw 2 cards. Awesome. This is another priority pick for your 4 cost spot in the deck. 4 costs for a 5,000 power character. That's a nice bruiser stat line. Has the 2k counter built in and a trigger that draws 2 cards. Really, really good card for sealed here, guys. Next up is Zoro, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1k counter. The trigger is the same thing as Pacifista. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 1 or less, and add this card to your hand. But the on KO is kind of interesting. On KO, if your leader has the Supernova type, play up to 1 Supernova type character card with a cost of 4 or less from your hand. I was not paying attention to the types, guys, but if there's enough Supernova targets in your deck or in your pools to justify running this, you might want to consider it. But otherwise, this is still just a good card. It's a 5 cost, 6k with a 1k counter, whether it has an on KO or not, right? And then the trigger is extra potential value as well. Okay, solid card. Next up, we have Whitebird. This is a 6 cost, 7,000 power, 2k counter vanilla. Great card to run in sealed. Okay, next up we have the event. It's called I Love You. It's a 1 cost counter up to one of your leader or character cards gains plus 2,000 power during this battle. Then, if you have 2 or less life cards, add up to 1 Trafalgar Law from your trash to your hand. Again, I wasn't paying attention to every single card named Trafalgar Law, but there is a very nice 6-cost 7K blocker law that we just saw when we were going through the yellow cards. So if you have this in your deck, it might be worth considering to run the 1-cost event we just looked at, just in general, because you can counter out with that card earlier on or block out with it earlier on in the game, and then later in the game, for one Dawn investment, you're getting a 2K counter, and then, again, if you have 2 or less life cards, you're going to add a Trafalgar Law from your trash to your hand, so you can get the card right back. So this card could have value depending on what you draw. Okay, next up is We'll Ring the Bell waiting for you. This is a 3-cost event. It is main. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal a total of up to 2 Shandian Warrior type cards or Montblanc Noland, and add them to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Trigger, draw card. This will come down to what you draw, guys. If you see enough targets, it might be worth considering. Okay. Next up is Slam Gibson. This is a 1-cost event. Main, rest 5 of your Dawn cards, so that's 6 altogether, 1 plus 5. And if your leader has the Supernova type, add up to 1 card with a cost of 9 or less to the top or bottom of the owner's life cards face down, and then it's a 1-cost 3K as well for the leader. So this will remove, if I'm not mistaken, guys, this will remove literally anything in sealed. So if you get this card, it's just auto-include if your leader is Supernova or Rainbow Luffy. Because for 6 Dawn, you're dealing with any threat on the board, even the massive cards we saw like the 8-cost 10K vanillas. Great card here, guys. Really good removal. And a 3K counter built in. Okay, now we got the secrets, guys. We're almost done. Jory Bonnie, 5 cost, 6,000 power, 1K counter blocker. That's already worth running, period, when it comes to sealed. But then there's even more upside on play if you have 8 or more rested cards. That's Dawn, leaders, characters, stage, whatever, right? If you have 8 or more rested cards, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand, then set it to one of your Dawn cards as active. So it's almost like this is a 4 cost 6K with a 1K counter blocker, draw 2, trash 1, right? If you have 8 or more rested cards on the board. Really good card for sealed, but that should be pretty obvious, right, with it being a secret rarity card. Okay, very hard to get your hands on these. Okay, there's the alt art. Here's the manga. Then we have Kuma. So this is probably my number 3. I think this might be the 3rd best card or somewhere in the top 3 conversation of cards in OP12 for sealed. Kuma is absolutely cracked, guys. It's a 6 cost, a 7K, a 1K counter. It has on play, trash 1 card from your hand, and add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. Then this character gains +2 costs until the end of your opponent's next end phase. So it's a 6 cost 7K. You trash a card from your hand, you gain a life, and it's an 8 cost character until the end of your opponent's next end phase. Or yeah, until the end of your opponent's next end phase. And then on KO, opponent's turn on KO, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life cards. So guys, this card hits the board, you gain a life, and then if they KO it at any point, you gain another life. Really powerful card for sealed. I know I don't have that on the checklist there for the 5 cards we're looking for, but guys, gaining life, triggers, there's a few cards ramping down, or there's a few other effects in the game to look for that aren't very common, and that's why I don't have them on the list. But guys, like I said, gaining life, ramping dawn, triggers, things like that, those are really good cards to look for in sealed, and this card gains life twice, and it has a counter, and it has a bruiser stat line. I mean, the only thing that could have made this card probably better for this sealed is if it was a slash character, right, where it would be Perona and Hiyori searchable. Otherwise, incredible card. Okay, so that should be it. So right here, this should be the alt art for Kuma. Then we have a few SPs. I don't want to talk too much about these. Tashigi's only going to be decent if you find enough Navy cards, but I think if you open these guys, whatever you open in your sealed packs, you can run it in that sealed tournament. This Yasop, really not that bad. 5 cost, 6K, 1K counter, buff your leader by 1,000. Dawn times 1 when attacking, minus 1,000. Really good for sealed. Lim, probably not good for sealed, guys. In your turn, if you have 3 or more rested characters, you can set this character as active. So maybe the end of your turn will come in handy, but I don't think there's any Odyssey characters to search up with this character. Marshall D. Teach, if your leader is Rainbow Luffy, really good card to get in sealed. There's 2 different versions. This is the silver version. This is the gold version. They both look really awesome. Kuzan, not great for this sealed because there's not a lot of Blackbeard Pirate stuff, if any, to get from your activate main, but it is a 5 cost 5K that they can't really interact with very much, right? Unless actually there's some green cards that could rest this down, you could deal with it. So probably not good for sealed. This Ace, 5 cost, 7,000 power on play. If you have 2 or less life cards, this character gains Rush. This is a great card for sealed. Once you get down to the lower life, this would go perfectly with your 8 cost Doflamingo if you happen to get both of those. Zoro, if you have enough Straw Hat searchable stuff, this could be decent, but I don't think there's that much Straw Hat stuff in this set. I can't remember, guys. There might be. Maybe I'm not thinking of enough, especially purple Straw Hat stuff, right? Because I think a lot of that was built more around either Rosinante or Sanji, the leader. Who knows? Okay, and then we have Vinsmoke Sanji. This is the searcher from OP10. On play, if your leader type includes Germa, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with the type including Germa, and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Probably stay away from this and sealed. Okay, that's it, guys. That's the whole entire breakdown of OP12. Good job making it this far. Good luck to everybody going to your sealed tournaments. Guys, some things to remember to bring. Bring Dawn cards. Bring your Rainbow Luffys if you have those. And then, for the leader. And then bring some sleeves. Have some sleeves to sleeve up your cards. And then maybe bring some dice. Bring your play mat. There's a few things to remember. And then, guys, just bring the good vibes. Have a good time. All right, that's it for me. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me get the outro page on here real quick, guys. Got to move that. Get the outro page on here. Well, guys, that's another one in the books there. Another VV video in the books. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing to help me out, guys, or whatever you're doing to help out the community, I really appreciate it. Using my TCG player affiliate link, donating through Patreon or PayPal, Playmat supporter, YouTube member, Discord community, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much. This community has been absolutely incredible. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.